I'm in like with Justin Herbert.
That
That
I like that you said that.
and I'm glad I said that because it sounds like I teed you up perfectly. So why don't you pick
And
up where I left off?
He's just it's always the if.
It's the if.
You know, if he did this, if he did that, like at some point I need to see results. Same with Joe. I'm gonna talk about this with Joe too. I need to see the results. I know like his his first 5 years or whatever were like amazing.
Very Matt Stafford-esque.
All the stats and all that, but dog, I've seen you in 2 playoff games now.
You've been bad.
You've played one good half. You've played one good half.
And it's not like the other 3 halves he played okay. Like it wasn't like he was
You played bad.
Bad. The other
you
3
were bad.
halves.
In the last game I saw you when you threw 3 picks.
4. He threw 4 picks.
Forgot a pick you threw.
I'll tell you what, you were confused by the fact because he actually only threw 3 interceptions last year all season long, and then he threw 4 in 1 playoff game. So that's probably what you were confusing it with.
But like, with all that being said, though, like I do like Justin Herbert. I think he has the talent to be a top 10 quarterback, but for some reason, like we do this with Tua. Like Tua he led the league in passing 2 years ago, but we don't give Tua the same credit or the same leniency we give with Justin Herbert because obviously Justin Herbert is more talented. Like that. I have eyes. I can see that.
And it's so unfortunate because all offseason, the conversation about the quarterback list, the real interesting one, right, has been, well, we all agree who the top 4 are. Maybe you disagree on the order, but we all know who the top 4 are. Who is number 5? Justin Herbert should be number 5. He should
be, but again,
but he's not. He has not done it to earn it.
Exactly. And so that's kind of my annoyance with the talk of Justin Herbert. He's a great quarterback, and I like what they did last year with him. They didn't put too much on his plate. He was very efficient with the ball. He was 9th in passing yards all year, played all 17 games, about 66% completion. Very nice. 3,800 yards. 23 touchdowns
Solid.
and 3 interceptions all year. I'm just like, I need to see more, and it's mostly in the postseason. Obviously, sample size is not. He has to get there too. Sample size is not great. I've seen him in 2 playoff games. I just need to see more. And like you talked about, they've been doing a great job. Slater just got the bag.
Love it.
Great pick by them, and back in 2021. He's been phenomenal, graded the 2nd left tackle in the league on Pro Football Focus. Their offensive line, I'm looking at the Warren Sharp,
Becton. He's
revitalized his career.
Just on a side tangent, it should be illegal to put somebody who is 6'7", 360 pounds at guard. That is just wrong. Because Mekhi Becton, if you recall, was drafted as a tackle. He was supposed to be the anchor of the Jets' offensive line, and the Eagles brought him in, and they're like, what if we put him at guard?
Well, he was struggling.
Yeah, he was.
Couldn't stay healthy.
And then as you said, he's revitalized his career. You also got Joe Alt going into year 2. Joe Alt was a really solid pick. I just wanted to make a comment on that. Last year, everybody thought they were going to pick like Marvin Harrison Jr. or something, and you and I stood strong. We're like, dude, Jim Harbaugh is not spending a top 6 pick on a receiver. He is clearly going to go an offensive lineman. He's going to probably go Joe Alt, and that's exactly what he did.
And I like what they did this year. They went running back. They did go with a receiver in the 2nd round. Trey Harris.
I think Trey Harris will be really good for that receiver room.
Najee Harris and then Amarian Hampton.
And your 3 receivers are Trey Harris, Ladd McConkey, and Keenan Allen, and Quentin Johnson, an extra guy.
I'm not in love with their tight ends, but I think they're serviceable. And then defensively, I think it's a solid unit.
It was top of the league last year. Now, I got some things to say about that, though.
You can go in on the defensive. Not much to say about the defensive unit. I think they'll be solid. I just want to see Justin Herbert play well. He did play well last year. I just need him to play well throughout the season and then carry that over to the postseason. I like what they did. Offensive line's great. Receivers and tight end serviceable.
I just love how Jim Harbaugh builds his team, because Jim Harbaugh is like, I'm going to invest in the offensive line. I'm not going to pick skill position play, except obviously Amari and Hampton in round 1, but I'm not going to focus on receivers
when
in
I
round
need
1.
to.
Because he can go get Ladd McConkey in round 2, and Ladd McConkey rips off 1,000 yards. He can go get Trey Harris in round 2, and Trey Harris could very well be solid. He goes and gets Oronde Gadsden in the 5th round, who a lot of people are saying in the Chargers circls that, like, he's turning heads. He very well could end up being the starter over Tyler Conklin at some point. So who knows? I heard Brett Coleman, he kind of compared him to, like, kind of an Isaiah Likely type of figure, where they kind of put him all over the field. So
hey, they need that.
And with Keenan Allen, again, they got a real committee. It's not top of the line. It's not top of the league, but it is very serviceable with an offensive line that's really good.
Chiefs go to Super Bowl every year, and
I have a point about that I did want to make, where it's like, we talk about how good the coaching is in this division, and none of them prioritize receivers. None of them. Four of the top 7 coaches in the NFL. The Chiefs don't prioritize it. The Broncos don't prioritize it. The Chargers definitely don't, and the Raiders didn't. The Raiders went and drafted a running back. They drafted Ashton Genty. So on the defense, I'm a little skeptical about their defense. I don't mean to bag on it, but Jesse Minter, he did a great job. He came with Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. He had possibly the best coordinating performance. Maybe there's some OCs that, obviously Ben Johnson comes to mind, but Jesse Minter is on the short list. That said, they beat up on a lot of bad quarterbacks, or a lot of young rookie quarterbacks. They beat up on Drake May and Bo Nix, who are rookies. They beat up on Aiden O'Connell. They beat up on Will Levis. They beat up on Kirk Cousins. And the teams they lost to, Mahomes twice, Lamar, Baker, Kyler Murray, they did beat Joe Burrow. Look at who they were beating. It was a collection of, like, not very good quarterbacks. And when they did play those quarterbacks, they did not perform that well.
Looking at their schedule,
it's a harder schedule. It's harder than it was last year, but it's a middle of the pack schedule overall. And then you look at who they lost. Joey Bosa's in Buffalo. They lost him. They lost Poona Ford to the Rams, who we talked a lot about. They lost Christian Fulton, who I think that's a sneaky, huge loss for them. And they lost Asante Samuel Jr.
Not Eli Apple.
Nah, dude. Eli, that's the difference maker right there. Eli Apple, the difference maker. No, but, I mean, they did retain Khalil Mack. They drafted Jamari Caldwell. They still have Tyre Tate. They brought in Kyle Kennard. So they can maybe mitigate some of those losses. And in the secondary, I actually feel a little better about their secondary. They did bring in Dante Jackson, who coming from a 1-year stint in Pittsburgh. Derwin James is still chilling back there. And then Tariq Still and Cam Hart, that was 2 fifth-round corners they found in last year's draft. They both did really well last year. So I think there's a lot of optimism about their secondary. And then I'm calling it. I'm calling it right now. I'm probably a little late for the deep film guru people. Deion Henley is going to be a star in this league. Their linebacker, he is, again, probably a little late in terms of the deep dive homies, but there's a lot of people out there who are not talking about Deion Henley. That dude is going to be a stud in this league. So keep an eye out for that name. I think very well he could be a top-tier linebacker by the end of this year.
He's ranked pretty well. 26 of the 84 linebackers on Pro Football Focus.
Yeah,
so
he had a tough rookie year, and then he really came into his own last year, which, again, makes sense because they got better coaching. Moved off of Brandon Staley and Kellen Moore. But nevertheless, Kellen Moore's offense, you know what I mean. But anytime I can take a dig at Kellen Moore.
We'll talk about it when we get to the Saints. Can't wait till we get to the Saints.
So I think, and then just outside of the team, right, there's a couple things I think we have to watch. One, they really struggled in the fourth quarter of close games. And fun fact, in the past 4 years, they are 6-13 in games decided by a field goal. That is second worst in that stretch. So you kind of have this narrative building.
All their games against the Chiefs are
that's true too. That probably doesn't help, but you have a narrative kind of building about Justin Herbert. It's like, oh, you're struggling in the fourth quarter. Oh, you're struggling in these close games. Oh, now we're putting together playoff games where you're not good. So there's a little bit of a concern there. And then I think the big question is, I think this is going to be definitely solved, but offensively, they struggled to run the ball on early downs, which is crazy to think about because they were so dedicated to that as their identity, but they really weren't that good at it on early downs, and they had to pass a lot early. They were the 7th most pass-heavy team on early downs in the first half. So, again, Omarion Hampton, 22nd overall pick. He's going to really change life, I think, for this team. And with Najee Harris behind him, I think Najee Harris is really going to help balance it out, that workload. So, in conclusion for me, I really like this team, but I am not in love with this team. I think people are hyping this team up a little too much. I still have several questions about them. I think we have to see how Justin Herbert does in the crunch time moments. And, in a division against the Chiefs and Broncos, if you're not careful, that could be 3 or 4 losses like that. So I'm also a little skeptical of their defense. They're going to have a harder schedule. They lost some talent. They're great on paper last year, but we'll see kind of how they do. I do expect their defense to take a step back. You know how, with Brock Purdy, you know how, Kyle Shanahan would say something like, look, Brock Purdy's stats might get worse, but trust me, he is getting to be a better quarterback, even if the stats don't reflect it. I think this team in year 2 of Jim Harbaugh could be better as a team, but a harder schedule, some worse breaks. I think the stats might not indicate that necessarily. And I think they very well could end up 11-6 again, but still be a better team than they were the year before. Obviously some circumstances are a little different. So that's kind of how I feel about this team. So really quick, let's talk ceiling floor. What for you is their ceiling?
They're at 9.5 forecasted right now. I would say around that 10-7, 11-6 kind of. That's their kind of ceiling for me.
Oh wow, okay. I think that's probably where they end up. I think their ceiling for me is a little higher.
Really? 12 and?
Yeah, I think they could win.
5?
I mean, again, a ceiling is everything broke right for you. So I think everything breaks right for them. They win 12 games. Maybe 13 games, depending on some luck here.
Yeah, 12 and 5.
They run the ball well. This defense is legit. Justin Herbert is who we think he could be.
Yeah, I could see him winning a playoff game.
I think they win a playoff game. Mess around being the AFC Championship.
I don't know
at the peak.
Maybe at the peak.
It's not gonna happen. I don't think it'll happen. But
realistically, I'm really just hoping for maybe they get out of the wild card game, or at least Justin Herbert have a good start to finish playoff game. That's really
yes.
I know
I agree.
The Chargers want probably a little bit more. They probably think of themselves as a much better team than that. But realistically, I think if I'm a Chargers fan, I want a playoff win. But if I can get a game where Justin Herbert plays well and maybe we didn't get a call or we get a drop ball or something, I could live with that as long as they're in the game. So yeah, that would be mine.
I agree. I think a successful season for them, if they win a playoff game and they're playing, say, the Bills, or the Ravens or Chiefs or something, and Justin Herbert plays well in a loss, I think we're going to look at the Chargers and feel really, really, really good.
We'll be optimistic
about where they're
going into 2026.
If we are here same time next year, they go 11-6 and they get bounced in round 1 again. I'm not saying he's on the hot seat. I don't know if you can have Justin Herbert on the hot seat.
No,
okay. Jim Harbaugh's not going anywhere.
Okay, I was
Jim Harbaugh might be looking around going.
He didn't draft him.
No, and I think Nick Wright, I'll give Nick Wright a little credit here. I thought he made a really great point about this because the whole debate has been well, Jalen Hurts or Justin Herbert, and Nick Wright, I thought he crushed it with this point. He's look, Justin Herbert last year, in that playoff game in particular, was literally asked to do exactly what Jalen Hurts does for the Eagles. And he threw 4 picks and lost the game. And Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls. Jalen Hurts has more Super Bowl wins than Justin Herbert has playoff wins. He's been to the Super Bowl as many times as Justin Herbert has been in a playoff game. So I thought that was just a great way to frame it. It's we talk about who's better. It's well, how about when Justin Herbert is asked to do what Jalen Hurts does, he hasn't even done that well. So I digress.
And I really do just one last one. I really hate to pile on like a player. He seems like a nice guy, nice
Yeah,
dude, and stuff like that.
I respect Justin Herbert.
I do too, but like, hey,
We're truth tellers.
But like, hey, man, everybody just puts him on this pedestal, and I'm like, he hasn't earned it. He has not, and especially like I like a team with a guy that we give no credit when he does well and his team does well.
You hear the way they talk about Tua. Tua's on the hot seat.
Like,
I mean,
yeah,
Tua is a year away from being cut.
One of the worst players in the league, and I'm like, he does not get the like. I just wish we were more fair about it.
I think you're just sensitive because of that famous debate between Tua and Justin Herbert and all that, because they came out in the same draft. But anyway,
it's like, oh, Justin Herbert's stats compared to Peyton Manning. He has like similar stats to Peyton.
Yeah, but then Peyton went and ripped off 3 straight all-pro first teams, and he ripped off 2 straight MVPs and was second and third place in MVP voting respectively. So unless Justin Herbert is about to do that, the Peyton Manning comparisons can kindly stop.
If he don't play well this year, then it's gonna stop. It should.
So